Bridgerton is coming back. Hi, I'm Colleen Delaney. If you're new here, I talk about books and writing. Today we're talking about Bridgerton. In the description, I always put links to my newsletter and books I write if you want to check any of those out. But let's talk about the show of the moment. If you have somehow stumbled upon this video and have no idea what Bridgerton is, which I find hard to believe, it is a Regency romance set book series that is now a Netflix series, and it came out December 2020, I think was when the first season came out. The second season came out in 2022. The third season is coming out in May, and I am very excited. And I'm going to tell you why I'm so excited for this season, even if it's nothing like the book. I am through and through a romance reader, lover, and the fact that a Regency historical romance series has gotten adapted for the screen is like huge, because I cannot imagine, 15 years ago, anything like this ever happening. So that is very exciting, extremely exciting. Part of the reason why I love this show so much. Are the Bridgerton books the best historical romance series I've ever read? No, they're not my favorite. I enjoyed them. Most of them. I did a video, I don't remember how long ago, but I'll put in the description, ranking the Bridgerton couples from least favorite to most favorite. Now let's talk about the 5 reasons why I am excited to watch this season of Bridgerton, no matter what. Reason number 1, Romancing Mr. Bridgerton, which is what this season will be based on, was a very middle of the road book for me. It wasn't a favorite, and it wasn't at the bottom of my ranking. It was like right smack in the middle. And I feel like that's a good way to go into it. The last season, season 2, was based on The Viscount Who Loved Me, which is my favorite book in the Bridgerton series. That turned out to be a little odd for me because they changed a lot of the book, and a lot of the tropes, which was a little sad for me. I still enjoyed watching season 2, but there was some stuff that I really loved in the book that I felt a little bit sad about it being left out from the series. I don't really feel that way about Romancing Mr. Bridgerton. I'm also looking forward to the fact that they're going to have to come up with a lot of new content, because a huge part of Romancing Mr. Bridgerton is finding out who Lady Whistledown is. The reader doesn't know. And so since we already know as viewers who she is, there's going to be a lot more content that they're going to have to put in that I'm looking forward to. I think it'll be fun to see some new content. My second reason piggybacks off the first, and that is that they've already given us some teasers of some of the best scenes in the book. So we've gotten a mirror. And if you've read the books, the mirror scene is a big deal. And we've gotten a carriage teaser, which we got that a very long time ago. And personally, as a reader, the carriage scene was my favorite scene in the book. I really like that scene a lot. So I already know that 2 scenes are going to be in there that I was really looking forward to. And so that kind of just makes me even more excited that I know they're going to put those 2 scenes in. They're not going to be left out like some of my favorite scenes were in season 2. They're in there. They know what they're doing. The third reason I'm going to watch the heck out of this and probably love it no matter what are the main leads. Penelope, 1. We've gotten to watch Penelope and Colin for the last 2 seasons. So we've really gotten to know them as characters and know them outside of their relationship with each other, which I think is very fun. Let's start with Colin. I'm really happy they never gave Colin an affair. And I'm going to tell you why. I don't mind that Benedict's had a bunch of affairs because I feel like his personality works with that. And they're never very emotional. They're just he's having a good time. Benedict's having a good time. He's very bohemian and he's having a good time. I had feelings about them diving so deeply into Anthony's affair in season 1 because we really watched, an arc of him with someone else before we watched his arc with Kate, which I'm feeling a lot of feelings about this because I'm rewatching season 1 right now. So that's the reason. But I'm really glad we didn't get that with Colin. I didn't really want to watch him, be in love with someone else or think he's in love with someone else. We had the Marina stuff in season 1, which was fine. And whatever, it's fine. But I feel like we didn't get there was no chemistry between them. So you didn't really feel oh, could this work out? Whereas I felt like Anthony and the opera singer whose name I can't remember, which I just watched that, I should be able to remember it. They had pretty good chemistry. Moving on to Penelope and also her and Colin this is a Friends to Lovers season, which Friends to Lovers is one of my favorite tropes. And I do think it's really underutilized. I think Enemies to Lovers is a trope a lot of people like because it's so fiery and passionate. But me as a human, I could never be in an enemies to lovers relationship because I'm a Taurus. So if I meet you and I dislike you, I will dislike you for the rest of my life. I'm not going to accidentally fall in love with you. So I really love friends to lovers. So I'm really happy we're getting that. I'm very excited to watch Colin kind of go through the transformation of seeing Penelope as just a friend and then seeing her as something more romantically, because I think it's going to be great. On just Penelope, we finally get the trope of watching a wallflower bloom, which is a really fun Regency trope that's in a lot of different Regency historical romances, but we haven't had yet in Bridgerton. So I think that's going to be really fun. I mean, I clipped some pictures because I wasn't going to put a ton of like video clips and stuff like that in here, but of Penelope in season 1 versus Penelope in season 3. The actress talked about how she got a wig upgrade, and you can really tell because she's definitely looking like a little more dowdy with her old wig versus her new wig. Also, if you watch the first season very closely, you can see that all her dresses are cut very poorly for her figure. So like her empire waist like cuts her chest in half, which looks terrible. But then in the new season, she's got like better cut for her figure, which her cleavage is amazing. And if you've read the book, you know that Colin is a big fan of that cleavage. The fourth reason I'm very excited is kind of a weird one that doesn't have to do with Colin and Penelope. We're probably going to get a lot of Francesca in this season, and Francesca's book is my second favorite book, but the way it's written is interesting because there's a large time jump, and like there's a lot of background stuff going on with Francesca during the middle books, because her book is 5th, I think. 6th. Her book is 6th. So you get a lot of passing comments about what's going on in Francesca's life that we don't really see in any of the books, but I think we're going to get it this season. I don't want to give any spoilers away for Francesca's story, but there's been some clues in the previews about what's going on with her. And so I am excited for this like strong B plot, which will probably also take up a lot of the Lady Whistledown time. And the 5th reason is that Bridgerton makes me really happy. The opening credits song like is a dopamine shot to my brain. Like it just gives me that like, oh, I love this show. This is comfortable. I love this world we go into. I love the flowers and that everything feels like spring. It's amazing. The color palettes of each of the seasons just like make my heart sing. I can't wait to look at the dresses and the beautiful set design. And the success of Bridgerton makes me really hopeful that we'll get more historical romance adaptations, because I do think it's a really beautiful genre to work within. I mean, I would absolutely love if anyone stars HBO. Who's having a hard time? Anybody? No, probably none of you. Peacock, Hulu, if any of you would please adapt Lisa Kleypas's world. Just do it. Just start with the Wallflowers, move to the Hathaways, and end with the Ravenels. We would all watch the heck out of it. It would be amazing. It's like, I don't even know. Let me do some quick math. How many books are in the Ravenel series? 6 or 7. It's like 16 or 17 seasons that we would all watch. So do it. Do it. So in closing, what I expect from this season of Bridgerton is 1, great covers, classical covers of songs that I enjoy. 2, beautiful clothes that I do not care if they are historically accurate or not, as long as they are pretty. 3, friends to lovers business, some friends to lovers stuff going on. 4, Francesca. Let me see some more Francesca. And 5, the joy that watching this series brings me. Let's end with a quote from my husband, who I always watch Bridgerton in its entirety alone. And then a few weeks later, I rewatch it with my husband, who asks me a lot of questions that a lot of times I have to say, well, that's a spoiler. Do you want it answered? And season 1, he was great. He liked it a lot. Season 2, he didn't like as much, mainly because it's hard for him to get into the Regency romance world brain, in terms of he thought that Anthony looked way too old for Edwina, so that really bothered him, which I understand, but that's like just a thing in historical romance. And I think technically she's like 20, so it wasn't like she was an actual teenager. But he said to me the other day, who's this season about? And I said, it's about Penelope and Colin. And I showed him pictures of who they are. And he goes, oh, yeah, I like her. That'll be a good one. So that's your ringing endorsement on why to watch season 3 of Bridgerton from my husband. If you're still here, thanks for hanging out for so long. In the comments, tell me, are you excited? Are you nervous? Did you dislike the adaptations in the first 2 seasons, so you're not watching it? Are you going to start with this season because you've read the books and this was your favorite book? Because I know this is a fan favorite book. It's not my favorite book, but a lot of people say that this is the best book in the series. Are you mad they skipped Benedict? I'm not that mad. I understand why they did it. I love Benedict and I love his book, but Benedict's a great secondary character. So I feel like they don't want to lose him yet, but he better be next. If we jump to Eloise and Benedict keeps getting moved back, I'm gonna be kind of mad. But I'll let it slide for now. As always, I hope you're in the middle of a good book, about to start reading a good book, or about to start writing a great book. Cheers.